Why do you think that we're in need of this? Why do you think in the first place women, for example, don't have that inner trust of themselves? Where does that come from? Does it come from past relationships with people?
Yeah.
Does it come from childhood trauma? Where do you think that stems from? Yeah.
That's an amazing question. Yeah, I like that question a lot.
Good.
um, it it comes from two different sides. One is culturally and through society, like, and we can see this in a macro level, like society terms, and we can see this in the micro level, like family terms and generational trauma. I'll start by the macro one. So,
Okay.
like in society, like women never had a big stand. Like I see what history has shown is like through the millennia of our years, women were there to serve and to raise kids, which was such a beautiful serving act. But the way our society evolved to encompass women more and to allow them to vote or to have a saying, those things are very recent. And I feel our minds can evolve with the concepts of the changing world, but there's things that need a lot of time to change truly because they've been happening for a long time. And so I think we are standing in a place right now in terms of culture and society where women have a lot of freedom to do what they want, to be who they want to be, and to vote, to buy things. We don't need to ask our husbands to have money anymore or to open a bank account. This happened very recently if we look at all history. Like, we are free to do all of those things, but I feel many people still subconsciously don't have that access to that full freedom because for a long time our ancestors didn't have that possibility. And so I feel there's a lot of patterns that come through generations that we are still comfortable with and uncomfortable with. Comfortable because they've been happening for a long time, so they feel what's familiar, and uncomfortable because we are in an era that allows us to do more and we can feel the restriction of the history on our backs.
Yeah.
And then on the micro level, I would say through our families will obviously represent the macro. So in our families, we can also experience that through like the history of our ancestors, what happened to the women in our lineage, the relationships with men, the toxicity or the goodness of it, and how that impacts our lives today. This is all in our blood. Like, this was all passed through generations through us, and there's a history in that and a legacy in that. And so we are definitely affected by it, and women are definitely affected by it, by all the stories in the family of what a woman can, what a woman can't, what is possible, what is not possible, and how that impacts themselves and their self-image, right? And also the relationships around, because it can be positive things of like, oh, a woman can do this, and empowering women to do that through generations. But it can also be stories like women like don't need men, and just like you can do it alone, and things like that I find are also not truly helpful, and also create a bigger gap between partnering with men. So this is important because building inner trust really allows you to look at these stories that sometimes are so out of our hands, but we can discover them when we do this work, especially like subconscious patterning. We can really go to the root of it and find things about ourselves that we were never aware of, and that don't come from our lived experience, come from things in the past, from our families. And yeah, through that work, we can come back to a place of like, okay, what is true for me? What is authentic for me, not based on the projections of the past and the projections of society, but what I am in my core and what I want to bring to this world.